Special cocktail for my favorite son-in-law, Mum said, placing the glass in front of me. I thanked her and switched it with Dad's drink when he wasn't looking. 45 minutes later, my father-in-law was pale and rushing to the bathroom. Special cocktail for my favorite son-in-law. My mother-in-law, Victoria, placed the glass in front of me. Crystal tumbler, her famous sangria, smile that didn't reach her eyes. Thanks, Mum, I said. She lingered, watching, waiting for me to drink. I picked up the glass, brought it to my lips, pretended to take a sip, set it back down. Delicious as always, she smiled wider, satisfied. Walked back to the kitchen. The moment she turned, I switched my glass with my father-in-law's. David was deep in conversation with Haley about his latest golf tournament. Didn't notice, didn't see. 45 minutes later, David was pale, sweating, rushing to the bathroom. Victoria's face drained of color when she realized what had happened. Her eyes met mine across the dining room table. We both knew. I pocketed the untouched glass, my original glass, and slipped it into my jacket pocket while everyone fussed over David's sudden food poisoning. My name's Julian Cross, 33 years old, wildlife photographer, National Geographic contributor, high-profile gallery shows, six-figure annual contracts. But to my in-laws, Victoria and David Morrison, I'd never be enough. David was an investment banker, managed portfolios for billionaires, country club, private golf course, summer house in the Hamptons. Victoria measured human worth in country club memberships and trust fund balances. For 6 years, I'd endured it. Since I married their daughter Haley. 6 years of subtle digs. 6 years of being reminded I wasn't good enough. How's the photography hobby going? David would ask at Sunday dinners, every single time. Like I didn't have clients. Like I didn't make money. Like I was playing with a camera instead of working. When Haley and I mentioned trying for a baby last year, David had said, children are expensive, Julian. Maybe get real employment first. Something stable. Last Christmas, I'd overheard Victoria on the phone in the study. Haley could have married Thomas, orthopedic surgeon, family money, perfect pedigree, but she chose the creative one. I never told Haley. She loved her parents, defended them, believed they'd accepted me. I knew better. The night of Victoria's birthday dinner, her 60th, I'd just returned from 3 weeks in Montana. Grizzly bear photography for National Geographic. Exhausted, jet-lagged, but Haley had begged me to come. It's her birthday, Jules. Just one dinner, please. So I came. Suit and tie, fake smile. Prepared for another evening of passive-aggressive comments. Dinner was in their formal dining room. Crystal chandelier, fine china, 12-course tasting menu from their personal chef. After the main course, some kind of duck confit, Victoria announced she'd made her famous sangria. Family recipe, special occasion only. She disappeared into the kitchen. I offered to help carry glasses. She waved me off. Sit, darling, you're our guest. But I followed anyway. Habit from years of documentary work. Always observing, always watching. That's when I saw it. Victoria was preparing drinks at the counter. 12 glasses lined up. She filled 11 from the same pitcher. Normal sangria, red wine, fruit, ice. Then she set one glass aside, separate from the others. She pulled a small vial from her purse, clear liquid, colorless. Added several drops to that one glass. Tucked the vial away the instant she heard my footsteps. Oh, Julian, I thought you were waiting in the dining room. Just wanted to help. She handed me a tray. Take these out, would you? This one, she pointed to the separate glass, is for you. Special recipe. I made it extra strong. I know you prefer bolder flavors. The glass had a barely perceptible film on top. Slightly different color, slightly thicker consistency. I took both trays, carried them to the dining room, placed Victoria's special recipe in front of David's seat while he was distracted, put his regular sangria in front of mine, made an excuse about preferring water, poured myself a glass from the pitcher on the table. Victoria's face flickered when she returned and saw the arrangement. Confusion, then realization, but she couldn't say anything, couldn't correct it without admitting what she'd done. She sat down, smiled tightly. To 60 wonderful years. We raised our glasses. Everyone drank except me. 45 minutes later, David was sick, violently sick, stumbling to the bathroom, pale, sweating, disoriented. Must be food poisoning, Victoria said quickly. Too quickly. The duck was probably undercooked, but I saw her hands shaking, saw her glance at me, at the glass I hadn't touched. While everyone fussed over David, calling doctors, getting cold compresses, I quietly pocketed my original glass, the one she'd prepared specially for me, sealed it in a plastic bag from the kitchen. Evidence. Monday morning, I took the glass to a private toxicology lab in Manhattan. Discreet tox, specialized in confidential testing. No questions asked. I need to know what's in this, I said. Full analysis, written report. The technician, young woman, maybe 30, took the sample. Results in 3 to 5 business days. 3 days later, I got a call. Mr. Cross, your sample contained benzodiazepines, specifically alprazolam, common brand name Xanax, concentration of approximately 6 milligrams, enough to cause significant sedation, memory impairment, and potential loss of consciousness for several hours. Enough to be dangerous? Potentially, especially combined with alcohol. Could cause respiratory depression, could be fatal in certain circumstances. I need that in writing. We'll email the full report within the hour. I hung up, stared at my phone. My mother-in-law had tried to drug me at her own birthday dinner, in front of her entire family. The question was, why? Over the next 2 weeks, I investigated quietly. slowly, carefully, the way I'd track animals in the wild, patient, methodical, invisible. I discovered Victoria had Xanax prescriptions from 3 different doctors, had been filling them for years, doubling doses, stockpiling pills. I found her pharmacy records through a contact who worked in medical billing. High PA violation, technically, but necessary. I compiled everything into a folder: the toxicology report, the pharmacy records, photos of the vial I'd seen in her purse, taken later when I visited their house with Haley, and I waited. My moment came 2 weeks later when Haley mentioned Victoria wanted professional family photos done. She's been asking if you'd do them, as a gift. Of course, I said. When? This Saturday. She said Dad will be at the office, just her. Perfect. Saturday morning, I arrived at their house with my camera bag and a sealed manila envelope. Victoria answered the door, smiled warmly. Julian, come in. I've set up the sitting room for the shoot. Before we start, I said quietly, we need to talk. I handed her the envelope, watched her open it, watched her face go white as she read the toxicology report, the pharmacy records, the timeline showing exactly what she'd done. This is absurd, she said, hands trembling. Someone's trying to frame me. We both know what happened. Her face hardened, transformed, the warm grandmother mask falling away. You're not good enough for my daughter. You've never been good enough. A man should provide security, stability, not photographs and camping trips. And drugging me provides security? It wasn't going to hurt you. Voice cold now, clinical. Just make you miss that gallery opening. Show Haley you're unreliable, that you prioritize your hobby over important family events. My gallery opening was the next night. You were going to knock me unconscious so I'd miss it. You would have been fine, just delayed. I pulled out my phone, started recording. Say that again. She laughed. Actually, laughed. You think anyone will believe you? We're the Morrisons. You're a photographer who plays in the woods. No one will take your word over ours. Here's what happens next, I said calmly. You tell David what you did. You start treating me with respect, or Haley finds out who her parents really are. She'd never believe you. She'll believe the lab report. That night, Victoria called Haley in tears, said I'd behaved inappropriately during the photo shoot, hostile, threatening, that she was worried about my mental state. When Haley confronted me, I showed her everything: the glass, the toxicology report, the pharmacy records, the recording from earlier that day. My mother wouldn't do this, she kept saying. There has to be an explanation. There is. She tried to drug me. Maybe the lab made a mistake. Maybe Haley, she admitted it on recording, but I could see she didn't want to believe it, couldn't believe it. So I waited. The next day, Haley went to her parents' house alone, to confront them, to get their side. She came home 3 hours later, eyes red, face puffy. They say it's a misunderstanding, that you've taken something innocent out of context, that you're paranoid from spending too much time alone in the wilderness. You believe them? I don't know what to believe anymore. For 2 weeks, Haley barely spoke to me, slept in the guest room, avoided eye contact, went to her parents' house every day. I was losing her, and Victoria knew it. Then a package arrived. No return address, just a USB drive and a note. You should see this. Vanessa, Haley's older sister, the one who'd moved to California after marrying Owen against her parents' wishes, the one who barely spoke to the family anymore. I plugged in the USB drive, found security camera footage from inside Victoria and David's house. Multiple files, dated and time-stamped. The first file, the night of the birthday dinner. Kitchen angle. Victoria adding something to a drink. Me switching glasses. David drinking from the tampered one. The second file, after we'd left. Victoria screaming at David, "You drank from the wrong glass, you idiot! That was meant for Julian!" David yelling back, "You tried to drug our son-in-law? This isn't the first time you've done something like this." Victoria, "He was going to ruin everything. That gallery showing would have made him successful, would have made Haley see him as legitimate." The third file, 2 days later. David and Victoria in the study. "He knows what you did," David said. "He took the glass. So what? Haley will never choose him over family. She's always chosen us." I called Vanessa immediately. "Why did you send this?" "Because they did the same thing to me when I married Owen. Drugged my drink at a family dinner, made me miss my nursing board exam, tried to make him think I was unreliable. It almost worked." "How did you get this footage?" "I installed the cameras years ago, when I realized what they were. I've been documenting everything, waiting for the right moment to use it." I started gathering more evidence. Called Thomas, the orthopedic surgeon ex-fiancé Victoria always mentioned, the one Haley had been engaged to before me. "They destroyed our relationship," he said immediately, systematically. "Your mother-in-law told Haley I was cheating, showed her fake hotel receipts, hired someone to send messages from a fake account. It took me 2 years to figure out what they'd done. I contacted other ex-boyfriends, 5 of them. Same story. Anyone who encouraged Haley's independence, anyone who took her attention away from her parents, eliminated. I compiled everything onto a new USB drive, organized by date, by incident, by pattern. Then I invited Vanessa and Owen to dinner at our house. Didn't tell Haley they were coming, just said we were having guests. When they arrived, Haley froze. "What are you doing here? We need to talk," Vanessa said. After dinner, I connected my laptop to our TV. "There's something you all need to see." For 90 minutes, we watched. Security footage, recorded phone calls, email evidence, text messages, a decade of manipulation. Haley sat motionless, face pale, hands gripping the armrest. When it finished, she turned to me, tears streaming. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "Because you needed to see it yourself." The next next morning, Victoria called. Haley put her on speaker. Darling, why don't you come stay with us for a few days? Give Julian some space. We can talk. Mum, I've seen the videos. Silence. The security footage of you drugging Julian's drink, of you and Dad plotting to break up my marriage. Everything. Whatever he's shown you has been manipulated. Stop. We're coming over tonight. We're going to talk about this. All of it. No more lies. That evening, I set up my camera equipment in their formal living room. I'm documenting this for the record. You're recording this? David asked. For everyone's protection. For 2 hours, we laid it out. The drink, the manipulation over the years, Thomas, the other ex-boyfriends, Vanessa's story, everything. They denied it all. With each denial, I played another video clip, showed another email, another text message. Their faces grew paler, quieter. Finally, Haley stood. I love you both, but what you've done is unforgivable. You don't get to control my life anymore. You don't get to choose who I love or who I become. As we left, I handed David the USB drive. This is yours. I'm not going to ruin your reputation publicly. That would hurt Haley. But if you ever try to interfere in our lives again, copies go to everyone. Your country club, your business partners, your entire social circle. For the first time in 6 years, David looked at me with something other than contempt. I underestimated you, he said. Yes, I said. You did. And I closed the door.